Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here. And in digital identity news, digital IDs are expanding in the US, but are they actually secure? That's what we're talking about. And let's start with Engadget, although I'm cribbing from multiple articles here. And here's what's going on. The state of Ohio became the 5th state in the United States to accept driver's licenses and official state IDs via the iPhone Apple Wallet app. Now, digital identification in Apple's wallet app can now be used to basically all across Ohio at TSA airport security checkpoints, and select businesses essentially are allowing this as well. Ohio is also working on implementing a free age verification app for businesses that require checking customers' IDs, such as liquor stores, all that kind of stuff. Now, the Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles has also created an instructional video that shows you how to add your license or state ID to your Apple Wallet if you're a resident of that state. Now, Ohio is joining Arizona, Colorado, Georgia, and Maryland as states that accept and recognize digital licenses and IDs through the Apple Wallet app. Now, if you are not basically in one of those states, you might be joining the list soon. 24 other states, as well as Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico, are exploring or in the process of implementing mobile digital license regulations. Now, 7 of those states are currently committed to implementing digital wallet access. So, in other words, if you're adding this up, the overwhelming majority of states across the nation will start using digital IDs. Now, Google Wallet is also accepted in 4 states at the moment, including Arizona, Colorado, Georgia, and Maryland, so some overlap there. And phone users with Android 8 or higher can save their IDs to Google Wallet. Now, the feature is not yet available for foldable devices, according to Google's help section. So if you're using a Samsung Fold or Flip, you gotta wait. Now, Apple added the ability to store driver's licenses in digital wallet apps with iOS 15 back in 2021. Apple Wallet is also recognized as an accepted form of identification or access into other societal sectors. Residents of the United Kingdom as well received an update last year that allows them to see their bank account totals directly from the Apple Wallet app. Now, Apple Wallet also allows hotel guests to store their room keys, because that's near field communication or sometimes RFID depending on the hotel. But in this case, the Hyatt hotel chain is allowing guests to do that across their properties. So if you, like me, are worried about security and Apple or Google wallets and your IDs, you're not alone, because aside from input capture attacks, data harvesting attacks, data leakage, theft due to weak or missing encryption, insecure storage, synthetic fraud via emulators or simulators, and on and on and on, there was a June of 2022 story. Now remember, Apple had been doing this already since 2021. Now back then in 2022, digital advertising security company Confient reported on a June 12th blog post that it found a widespread campaign where quote-unquote backdoor versions of Apple iOS and Android Web3 wallets had been breached by clone ads for real websites. Now, when the fraudulent links were downloaded by the user, the malware not only compromised the use of the real financial applications like the wallet, but exfiltrated seed phrases that allowed essentially the attackers to get into things like cryptocurrency wallets, authenticate, and then steal cryptocurrency. The researchers at Confient said that Seaflower, which is what they were calling it, is, quote, the most technically sophisticated threat targeting Web3 users right after the infamous Lazarus Group. So that's obviously a huge, huge thing. Now, on top of that, we have another article from June of 2024 from Ravelin that basically said this: nearly 1/4 of merchants say that Google Wallet and Apple Pay are the top vehicles for fraudsters using stolen credit cards. So if you didn't know how this works, when a customer makes a payment using one of these two, the merchant receives a token instead of the payment card number itself. Therefore, it's supposed to be impossible to identify the card that is used. So even if you block the offending wallet, though, attackers can move a stolen credit card to a new wallet. This digital wallet scam is one of the most commonly used. Now, that's not helped, for the record, by the fact that these cards are not often fully authenticated when added to the wallet. And Ravelin conducted a series of independent checks adding new cards to Apple Pay and Google Wallet, and they found that only a few banks, and again, this is June of 2024, like a month ago, only a few banks were actually verifying new cards individually. And so by virtue of that, if you were looking at the entire wallet system and the scams that I listed and the scams that we're actually finding and a whole bunch of issues with merchant theft on credit cards, why would IDs be much different? It's the same system. They're being used there. And by virtue of that, it's going to run on the same tokenized system. And so your wallet, or rather your ID, generates a token for that driver's license or whatever it is, passes that token for validation off. But if I'm able to get, let's say, a copy of that in some way, shape, or form, insert it into another wallet, I might be able to generate another token that matches your ID and therefore become valid. And so there has to be authentication checks, not to mention the fact that, again, if you've got weak encryption standards, if somebody's in your system actually with like a keylogger is able to capture or gain root access into, let's say, your Android or iPhone, something along those lines, they may be able to get this information from you. And I know Google and Apple will both say, oh, well, we've got strong encryption, blah, blah, blah. And that's well and good, but you have strong encryption until you don't. How many encryption systems have we seen that have had some kind of workaround that needs to be patched? This is a constant cat and mouse game. Now, is this going away? Is this a bad thing overarchingly? Odds are it's not going away. I don't necessarily know if it's good or bad, but it's definitely here to stay. And if it's here to stay, like basically carrying a driver's license in your wallet, your digital identity has to be protected. And by virtue of that, you protect your wallet. You take it with you when you leave your car. Maybe you're in a hotel room, you're taking it with you as you're out and about or putting it in a hotel safe. But when it's on your phone, it has some more susceptibility to being attacked, just as you could be pickpocketed, but now the whole world can pickpocket you, not just the person next to you. So I think this is going to be very interesting to see. I'm very curious to see the advanced security controls they put on this, but for now, this is going to be a kind of a cat and mouse game, and we're going to see a lot of adopters in this, and odds are we're all going to be doing it sooner than later. But again, understand the pitfalls. Nothing is perfect, and while it's easy and it's convenient, ask yourself, what are you possibly sacrificing for that privilege? And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private. Thanks, everybody.